Hello everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I thought I would do a video on all the media that I consumed in the month of August. So I think I want to just knock out the two movies out of the way that I watched this month. So firstly, I finally watched the 1931 version of Frankenstein. I honestly just really needed to watch that because I love anything Frankenstein, and I had not gotten around to watching that movie. And honestly, it was so painful to watch because of how they treated Frankenstein's monster. As somebody who's read the book and who loves the book, I hated that version of the movie, and that made me really appreciate Guillermo del Toro's version a lot more, because I really appreciate that he decided to lean more into the creature's tale, per se. I know there are a lot of inaccuracies in that version of Frankenstein, but the way that the monster was feeling in Guillermo del Toro's version was a lot of how he was feeling in the book. And I think that one is just, in the sense of Frankenstein's monster, I do think that that version is a lot more accurate. So I don't know. I don't want to say I hated it. I just didn't enjoy it because of how misinterpreted Mary Shelley's ideal version of the monster was. It was honestly heartbreaking, and I hate that they just made him look like this killer. And I know he did kill a child. However, they just made him look dumb, and he didn't say anything, and it honestly was just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the movie, but I thought I should talk about it. The second movie that I watched this month, we saw Spider-Man Brand New Day. It took a lot longer to be able to watch this movie than I would have liked, because every single Tom Holland movie I think I've got to see on opening night, and I didn't get to this time, just circumstances. But unfortunately, my aunt passed away, my dad's sister, and to get him out of the funk, I took him to the movies and we watched Brand New Day together. I loved the movie. I really enjoyed Frank and Peter's dynamic. I don't know much about The Punisher because I kind of stopped watching Marvel content a long time ago because of how stupid and dumb things have gotten. But I liked it. I know that the Punisher show is not as lighthearted and funny as he was in this film, so I'm going to keep that an open mind when I choose to go watch the show. I do want to know more about Frank's character, and so I think I'm going to end up watching that probably for the remainder of this month. Sadie Sink's performance, oh my god, she did incredible. I was really worried that when I went into this movie, I was going to see a whole lot of Max in her acting, but I didn't. And I thought she was incredible. I thought she was incredible in this movie. Her performance was outstanding. She gave me the chills. She genuinely, stressed me out. Her character genuinely stressed me out. She got to me. And there was just so many moments in the movie that stood out to me, but I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible. But I just want to say I loved it. I'm not a fan of how the movie ended. It could have ended better. We could have gotten a little more information, but we didn't. That's all I'm going to say about Spider-Man. Now, let's get into the books that I've read this month, because I have had such a productive month of reading, and I'm so proud of myself. So, I'm going to include this book in this video because although I did start reading this book in June, I did finish it this month. So, I'm going to include it in this month. I am. I read Christine by Stephen King, and I'm actually trying to get a video uploaded of me reading this book, because this was the very first Stephen King book I have ever read front to back. And I did make a video about it, so I'm not going to say a whole bunch about this book, but I did rate this book a 3 stars. I don't think this was a great choice for my first Stephen King read. I do have a Fairy Tale by him, and I've heard so many people say that that book is amazing. So I don't think I should have picked this book for my first read, but I was just so eager to read this. And it was just okay. I didn't hate it. It was a good time. There were a lot of slow parts in the book, but I did overall kind of enjoy it. I don't want to say that I hated it, because I did not. But yeah, we read Christine. Next up, I read Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesar. I enjoyed this book. I did not know that this was going to be like a little LGBTQ friendly, but it was, and I'm here for it. I loved that part. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I loved that part. This book was just fun. I'm glad I kind of read it in the summertime. It was just like a fun, lighthearted. I wouldn't say lighthearted, because obviously it's very gory, but this book was marketed as a YA book, but God, it was so gory and there's so much foul language, but I enjoyed it. It was kind of like watching Scream, the feeling that it gave me while I was reading it. And I also stopped by a cornfield while I was reading this book, and that just was so immersive. I didn't get to read out there, but I wish I could have. But yeah, I think this book was fun. I wouldn't say I loved it. It was enjoyable and I liked it a lot, but it wasn't a love. I also rated this book a 3 stars, but I'm kind of regretting it. I do want to say I liked it a little more than that, so I want to say a 3.5. I'll have to update my journal, but I want to say I rated this a little higher than 3. And I highly recommend it if you haven't read this. It's short, and it's a good summer read, honestly. So I think now is a perfect time to read it. Next up, I do not have a physical copy of this book because I did borrow it from my public library, but I read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I rated it a 3 stars. This was the very first book of hers that I've ever read. I enjoyed it. I know it's based off of an Edgar Allan Poe story. I have not read that story. Sue me. But I did go into this book blind. I really enjoyed it. It was very unsettling. It was not as scary as everybody made it out to be. And I did really enjoy all the artwork that was on the inside of the book. The library that I have, we have the hardcover version, which has the artwork on the inside panels. And I really, really enjoyed that. I really wish I had a physical copy of the book because I did like it enough to have it on my shelf. So hopefully one day I'll be able to get a physical copy of it. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. But I do really enjoy how she writes. I enjoy her writing style. And I'm really glad I got to read T. Kingfisher for the first time. It was such an enjoyable experience. I've been so eager to read something of hers. And just to be able to say that I've read it, it's awesome. But to piggyback off of this, I did also read What Feasts at Night. That one, I rated a 2 stars. I've heard a lot of people say the first book is better than the second and third. I have not read the third book in this little trilogy, but I read What Feasts at Night, and it was just okay. It was okay. It was good enough to keep me reading. It was good enough to finish the book, but it was lacking. I felt like there was a lot of areas that could have been expanded more, and a lot of more questions we could have gotten answered, but we didn't. So I felt like there was just something missing in that book, so that's why I rated it a 2 stars. Oh, y'all, the next book that I read, I read What Feasts at Night after this book, but I just had to talk about them jointly. I read The Ritual by Adam Neville. Adam Neville? I think it's Adam Neville. Oh my god. I loved this book. It was such a quick read for me. I loved the movie. I watched it a couple months ago for the first time. Oh my gosh. I watched the movie a couple months ago for the first time. I have the creature from the movie tattooed on my leg currently. I'll insert a picture here. I loved the movie so much. New comfort watch, even though that movie was slightly terrifying. The book was so good, and I also read it using the audiobook. I use the audiobook for every book I've talked about so far. I have read the physical book actually, but it really helps me stay on track if I'm listening to the audiobook as well as reading the book. And it's just like a great immersive experience. And this book, oh my god, his writing was incredible. He knew how to make you feel scared. He knew how to make you feel like you weren't alone. And the way he described the feeling of fear was just so incredible. I thoroughly enjoyed his writing, and I would really like to read something else by him. I rated this book a 4 stars. It was honestly just so good. If you have not read it, please go read it. I love a monster movie. I love a monster book, and this thing, oh my god, the way he just wrote how it moved and how large it was and how it would attack, and oh my god, it was stunning. I love that book, y'all. I read my first 6-star read this year. And this might be controversial to some of you guys because I know a lot of the people that I've seen review this book say that they enjoyed it, but they wouldn't rate it as high as I have. But I read Slewfoot by Bram. Let me tell you, okay, I wanted to wait to read this book till October, but I got the audiobook for free on my little free library, like local library app, and I could not help myself. I did buy it last month, the end of last month, so that I could have it for October. I really wanted to save it for October, but I could not help myself. This has been my most anticipated read this year. And oh my god, I loved this. I loved the vibes. I loved the artwork. I loved the writing, and I loved the main character. This book was enjoyable from front to back to me. This had no slow areas. I loved it. This was the perfect book. I had no complaints about this book whatsoever. Not a single one. Everything that happened in this book, I think, was supposed to happen. And it was just so good. If you have not read this book, oh my god, please read it. Please read it. God, it's just the perfect book. It takes in old-time British Columbia. There's witchcraft. There's creatures. There's, like, hypocrisy of Christianity. This book is just so good. And I loved this book. I loved it. I loved it so much. I'm a big fan of how this book is shaped. I want to display this book so bad, but I won't be able to until I get a new bookshelf. This was the perfect read. 6 stars out of 5. I also read A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher because Kaylee over on TikTok talks about it a lot. I liked it. I really liked the main character. She was awesome. I really enjoyed her. She was funny. She was relatable. You don't see a lot of authors writing bigger women, and I kind of felt like represented in that book. But I liked it, but I do want to say I rated it a 3 stars. It was good, but like I said about What Feast at Night, it was just missing something. I was not satisfied with the ending really, but it was good. I'm glad I read it. And it was also very interesting seeing how differently what Moves the Dead versus A House with Good Bones, like obviously old-timey language and writing versus, and like from another country versus like modern language and like slang. That was so interesting to see how she did that. And I do really like her writing. I think she's great. And I obviously want to read more by her. I don't think what has thrown me off about some of her books so far, I don't think that's going to deter me from reading anything else from her. I have 2 other books by her that are on my TBR. So I think I'm just going to keep continuing with her. I really enjoyed it. Alright guys, we are finally down to the last book that I read this month. And I don't think I'm going to read any more this month because this book has put me in a reading slump. I read Hidden Pictures, okay? I also don't have a physical copy of this book, but I would really like one because I rated this book a 5 stars. A lot of people don't like this book because of the main character. They say she was stupid, but honestly, I was fooled too. I was fooled too the whole time until I finally started to realize what happened. I was like, oh my god, I genuinely did not see the plot twist coming. And I think the writer did that in such an incredible way. And also, I really liked to see how the artwork kind of morphed from a children's artwork to an adult's artwork. That was very interesting to see. And I think the pictures, the adult artwork pictures, were so beautifully done. Shout out to the artist on that book. They were incredible. I cried at the end of that book. That was the only book I've cried for. I genuinely just loved it. It, like I said about Slewfoot, it was not boring from beginning to end. And the main character, I really felt for her. I've never been through any of the situations that she has, but God, I just felt so bad for her. And I can't say much because I don't want to spoil the book, but I'm just so happy that she is fine. She makes it. It was so good. And I think that's probably, I know I rated Slewfoot a 6 star, but this is right behind it. I had such a great time reading this book, and Slewfoot and Hidden Pictures gave me such a different type of thrill. This was they're very similar in ways, oh yeah, the woman makes it out. Final girl, I support women's rights and wrongs, but it just gave me such a different thrill. It was split down the middle, and I loved both of them so much. Those are both now my favorite books ever that I've ever read. I wish I could go back in time and read it again for the first time and just enjoy it, because God, it was so amazing. Please go read that book if you haven't. Please. I beg of you, every book that I've rated a 4 star and above in this video, please go read it. Because gosh, they were just so good. The Ritual, Slewfoot, and Hidden Pictures, gosh, absolute, I was going to say absolute cinema, but absolute literature, guys. Absolute literature. That is everything that I have watched and read this month in August. And if you guys have any horror book recommendations down below, please comment, because I think that's just the genre that was made for me. Every book I have read this month has been in the horror genre, and I just love horror books. I don't want to read anything else at all, and I'm running out of stuff on my horror TBR, so please comment down below any recommendations you have. This outro is already long enough, so I'm going to skedaddle, but I will talk to you guys later in my next video, which hopefully will be coming soon. Bye, guys!